Hello, Wolfpack. XRP, Ripple Labs, we've got the lawsuit. Everyone knows about the lawsuit, right? It's been going on for almost close to a year now, I'd think. I think it started over here in this drop here in around December 2020, so almost a year, just under a year. We saw a massive drop from that point. It kind of give us a bit of a bad start to the bull market here, but nevertheless, we managed to pump. We managed to make some traction here in the bull market, and we moved up pretty well. And we performed with most altcoins, right? Nothing too special, and that's probably because of the lawsuit itself and the FUD surrounding the lawsuit, and people being a bit skeptical of what's going to go on there. It is still going on. It's still being updated on a regular basis. It's still, from what I can see, from what I've researched, it's still uncertain when that lawsuit would finish. And so, obviously, that is a question you should be taking into account when investing in XRP, right? When trading XRP, take into account whether they might actually win that lawsuit or lose that lawsuit. Because, no matter what you want to say, no matter what cryptocurrency influencers say, there is a chance, right, that they will lose the lawsuit, and that would almost certainly cause a depreciation in price, just like the announcement of the lawsuit caused, right? We saw in just about, almost 2 weeks, we saw the XRP price drop 71% just from the announcement of the lawsuit. So you can just imagine what losing the lawsuit would do, and the fines Ripple would have to pay, what restrictions would be put on Ripple, would they have to change XRP itself? So it is definitely worth considering, but something I'd also consider is, what would happen if they win the lawsuit, right? That's the opposite scenario in which, they're just going to be going absolutely parabolic at that point, because not only would that be a statement about XRP and Ripple Labs itself, but that would also stand, in terms of the media and coverage in cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency beats the SEC, and you can imagine the headlines that would be coming out to the media about that. You can imagine all of the hype that would be going on in the space, and if that happens during this bull market, right? So within January, somewhere between January and now, that's just absolutely bullish, right? That could push us on XRP. That could make XRP 10x very easily, right? So all of that aside. All of that lawsuit stuff aside, everything like that aside, I'm looking at the chart. I'm looking at the TA, the plain TA, because all I can do is speculate about the lawsuit, right? I can make a whole video speculating about the lawsuit. From what I've heard, it's conflicting, right? It's constantly every other week, and depending on what media, where you get your media from or whatever, people are saying different things, and it all gets very confusing at a certain point. But I think that what I can say confidently and what I just said was that if they lose, you can expect at least a short-term price depreciation. And if they win, you can expect a very fast pump up on XRP in a matter of days, probably going 5 to 10x. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. I mean, considering even without any news itself, XRP went from the 5th of April to the 14th of April, so about a week. It moved up over 200%. So you can just imagine what a win against the SEC would do to the XRP price. That would just be absolutely phenomenal. But I'm not going to get into that. I've already got into it for like 2 minutes. I say I'm not going to get into it, but I've already been into it for 2 minutes. Anyway, I'm looking at the TA. And in terms of TA, in terms of structure, in terms of what's going on, it doesn't look too bad, right? It doesn't look too bad. And I don't look at XRP too often because of this lawsuit. And I think people should be cautious with it. And I still stand by that. I still think you should be cautious with XRP. But considering this lawsuit might not be finished until 2022, it doesn't mean you can't swing trade it, right? It doesn't mean you can't swing trade it, take advantage of the short-term price action. Of course you can do that. What we're seeing on XRP and what we've seen is consistent higher lows. And we've seen 3 of those now all the way back from 2020. So we are moving upwards in a gradual upwards trend. The good thing about XRP, if you are a swing trader, is it's a great coin for swing trading, right? You see very rapid price appreciations, obviously followed by very rapid downside. But, if you take advantage of those price swings, you can probably get yourself in a very good position here in XRP. What we have seen, what I want to look into in this video is the fact that we are seeing a bullish inverse head and shoulders pattern, just like we're seeing on a lot of altcoins. That would suggest we break this $1.42 resistance and head up to potentially new all-time highs on XRP. As to when that will happen, I'll get into that on the weekly chart in a second, but So that's one thing to keep in mind, right? The bullish inverse head and shoulders. We could also draw some sort of triangle if you were stretching it a little bit like that. That would suggest a move is coming shortly, but I'm not going to do that because it's kind of hard to be precise about something like that. We have the Bollinger Bands, right? We've just actually retested the center line of the Bollinger Bands, and we're heading to the upside, which probably indicates to me that we're probably going to be doing something like we did here in August, right? We're in a very similar state in the market. Where we retested the center line and we had a break to the upside. Whether that takes us over $1.42, well, that's reliant on the inverse head and shoulders, but I think it will, right? I think it will. We have the bull market support band below here, just below us here at about $1. And obviously that $1 support zone, and I'll actually move this up. I don't know why this is at 95 cents. There is a very strong support zone at $1 simply because of the fact that is a psychological support zone, right? People would have a lot of buy orders set at $1. People prefer buying at $1 than they do at $1.50, right? It's just how the human mind works. And so we have massive support at $1, and we've actually already retested that support, so we probably should be good to go to the upside, and that's why I said I think we're going to be breaking the inverse head and shoulders pattern to the upside, because we've retested $1. The next logical move is to break to the upside. The Bollinger Band suggests that. The bull market support band suggests that. We can look at the VVPR. Right, we can zoom out a little bit, look at the VVPR. And we can see that as of current, let me just zoom out a little bit here. And we can get a better idea of what's going on. So as of current, we have actually just managed to break out to the upside of this massive area of volume on the VVPR, which is the volume profile, which basically is an indicator of how much trading has happened in specific price regions over the course of history. So what it means, essentially, if we break to the upside of this massive volume, this volume patch here, it is more likely that we'll see a high volatility move to the upside. And obviously the next block of support on the VVPR is around here at $1.24. So the target in the short term for me on XRP is $1.24, right? As soon as we break $1.24, you can be pretty sure that we're going to be breaking $1.42, right? And once we break $1.42, then you can be pretty damn sure we're going to be retesting those all-time highs. As for when that will happen, well, we can look at the weekly chart to determine this, and we're on the weekly chart. We'll go to the log scale in a second because I want to bring up some sort of fractal on the log scale, but this gives you a better idea of what's been happening, right? Just consistent higher lows here on XRP. Yes, we made a lower high, but that's simply because the market has been in a massive corrective period. I would be expecting eventually something like that to happen, right? But what we're seeing here is a flat line on the MACD, and what this represents is the fact that, well, there's not really any more sideways consolidation XRP can do. It's going to need to make a decision here on the weekly chart, and that decision is either going to come from a bearish MACD cross from potentially a Bitcoin correction, or a diversion of this bearish MACD cross and diverting that blue line, the MACD line, to the upside, which would be extra bullish for XRP because it gives us room to breathe, right? And it make people confident to buy back into XRP, because a lot of the buyers in XRP, would be looking at a lot of the whales specifically who are very savvy with the charts, right? Who would essentially move the prices of the assets. Would be looking at the XRP chart right now, would be looking at this potential bearish MACD cross and being scared away. And if we do see a bounce here, which the inverse head and shoulders suggests, then we will be diverting this, and we will have room to grow to the upside on XRP. Now, I want to look on the log scale for XRP, and I want to show you some sort of fractal that's been playing out in this bull market that we saw in the last bull market. And then I'll jump back on the daily chart. I have a few more things to show you in terms of RSI and stochastic RSI. So what we have in this bull market, which is very interesting to see on XRP, is something very similar to what we saw in the last bull market, right? We saw in the last bull market, we had this correction in May, right? We had a correction in May on XRP. We came downwards, right? We bottomed out here. We moved to the upside in this move in September. We moved to the upside in this move in September. And now what I assume is going to be happening, right? This is speculation now from this point onwards, but I think we have that inverse head and shoulders, and hence we're going to be moving to the upside in October briefly, right? This month. So let's assume we move to the upside in October, and then we will come back down in November, which lines up with my theory. If you've watched my videos, I think we're going to see an early November correction before the blow off top in the bull market. We'll have that early November correction, and then we'll see that massive spike upwards, right? And that massive spike upwards will come here for XRP in January if it follows this fractal. Now, I know we don't have all of the data points for this fractal yet. It still is quite early, but we do have 1, 2, 3, So we have 1, 2, 3, and we're coming up for the 4th data point out of 6, right? So we have pretty and growing amount of evidence that suggests what we're actually seeing is a direct repeat of what we saw in 2017 on a much larger scale. And, you know, if we take a fractal, obviously taking fractals on the logarithmic chart is a bit of a dodgy game you're playing. But if we do take that fractal, we could probably line up something, right? It doesn't look identical, of course, but we could probably line up something. And it would suggest that, you know, if we're looking at it like this, we're probably suggesting that we're heading up to 15 USD. Obviously, taking fractals from a logarithmic chart is a bit of a stretch. But the point is, the general structure is pretty much identical, right? And I think, you know, 15 USD, especially considering that lawsuit, if we do see that lawsuit play out perfectly for XRP, I see no reason why we can't reach 15 USD. But as for right now, and I want to make this very, very, very clear, I'm not predicting any price target for XRP, simply because you know, I don't think it's logical to make a price target. It just gives people hopium, right? I'm putting it out there that I think we're going to be breaking the upside of a short term. I think we're seeing that fractal, but you know, this is a coin that I'm not willing to give a price prediction on due to the fact that we do have that lawsuit that might be, you know, making people lose money, right? So I'm not going to be responsible for that. So do your own research on XRP, but I'm just presenting my opinions here. If we bring up the stochastic RXI, we can see supporting the fact that we're going to be seeing, well, the theory that we're going to be seeing this inverse head and shoulders play out to the upside, right, and breaking this $1.42 resistance. We have the stochastic RSI moving up gradually, and we have a flat line, just like the weekly chart on the RSI. If we do see any slight movement to the upside, you know, this would be diverted, and it will give us some extra strength to break to the upside here in XRP. So let's see what happens there. And, you know, as I said, I still think we're going to be seeing a November correction. So even if we do break to the upside here above $1.42 in November, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we come back down to say $1.24 and then continue upwards into December and then blow off top in January. Right? That would be my prediction on XRP and most altcoins, to be honest. You know, if we look at the BTC pair, right, the Bitcoin pair and XRP, we can see that we're pretty clearly retesting a major support zone that we've been holding throughout the entire lifespan of XRP. So it's very unlikely that we'll be dropping below the support zone here, and the bottom of that support zone sits around 600 sats. So we still have a fair way to go if we're going to drop below it. And you know, it makes sense because I think we're actually going to enter this support zone once again. Bitcoin hasn't finished its run. As Bitcoin blows off top, goes parabolic into December, we'll probably continue to depreciate here on XRP. And then as January comes and XRP blows off top, we'll have a massive spike to the upside, just like we saw here in the last bull market, 2 separate occasions. You see every single time we break off to the upside, it's after an extended retest of the support zone. We saw it here, extended retest, break to the upside, extended retest, break to the upside, short retest, break to the upside, right? We had retests here, and we're having retests constantly. So the next logical step is to break to the upside on the Bitcoin pair as well. So ultimately, if we ignore the fact that we're having that lawsuit, we look good. If we bring in the fact we're having a lawsuit, it's a risky bet, but it's good for swing trading, and you know, it's definitely good if it plays out. So if you have some reason to believe, right, whatever your research you've done, I don't know what you've done, but if you have some reason to believe that XRP is going to be winning this lawsuit within this bull market, then by all means, go ahead, hold XRP, because that's going to be a massive payout, but it is a slightly risky bet by nature, just due to the fact that it has that lawsuit ongoing right now. But, you know, in terms of TA in the short term, I don't think it looks too bad. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.